Welcome into a Call of Duty Zombies video. In this video, we're going to be going over what I believe is a giant missed opportunity in Black Ops 6's second DLC Zombies map, The Tomb. And I'm going to be offering up some free ideas to Treyarch, and how they could have made this map into something much more special with a few tweaks. This is the map where I dropped off during the Black Ops 6 Zombies life cycle. Black Ops 6 Zombies is riddled with problems in various places. But in this video, I want to hone in on a very specific problem on The Tomb. The misuse of nostalgia, which made the map feel like filler. From what I understand, The Tomb was supposed to be a junction in the storyline, where the Chaos story meets the Dark Ether storyline and the old Victus and Primus storylines, all roads leading to this point in time. But the way the nostalgia factor was handled on this map is where it lost me. This was always going to be a map with some measure of nostalgia, but the problem I have is that the way that the nostalgia is just splashed on top of the map, rather than fully integrated into the zombies experience. It's the way that things were just recycled haphazardly, rather than carefully crafted into the map. It just feels like they had a map that they ripped from Warzone, needed to zombify it somehow, so they just tacked a couple of nostalgia elements into it. For example, take the moment when you walk into that last area before you go into the Dark Ether. You walk into this big, cavernous place, and part of the Origins soundtrack starts playing, and I just have to ask, why? There's no real visual that matches Origins in this scene, nor is there anything else that seems to resemble the map. It's just kind of tossed in there to remind you that this is supposed to be nostalgic. But in my opinion, the biggest offender of this tacked-on nostalgia is the Wonder Weapon, the Ice Staff, the Tomb's biggest missed opportunity. Now, we all know the Ice Staff is an iconic wonder weapon from Origins, and Treyarch decided to bring back the Ice Staff for maximum nostalgia on this map, so pretty much a one-for-one remake of the wonder weapon is on the map, which in my opinion is pointless, anticlimactic, and lame. What's the point of bringing this weapon back other than nostalgia? We've already played Origins a ton in Black Ops 2, and even in Black Ops 3 Zombie Chronicles. We've been using this weapon for over 13 years, and bringing back one of the most popular wonder weapons is pointless. While still lazy, at least Shattered Veil and Alpha Omega tried to vary the Ray Gun Mark II with some different variants, and at least Liberty Falls took some liberties and made the Jet Gun viable, which made the wonder weapon not feel as lazy to bring back. But bringing back this exact wonder weapon into the Tomb was one of the most boring decisions Treyarch could have made. And this is really where the map started to feel like filler. Just a to-do list of things that make up a zombies map. A checkbox that said Wonder Weapon was lazily checked off by adding the same old Ice Staff to the map. Now, how do we fix this problem? Well, let's show an ounce of creativity and give Treyarch some free ideas. I'm going to offer up a concept that would have fit the map and the story better, and would have still tickled those nostalgia nerves in the zombie fans' brains, taking the elements of nostalgia and culminating into something new and unique. So let's get into this concept. This is where things are going to get fun. And yes, we are going to use some AI image generation to help bring some of these concepts to life, just to help everyone visualize what I'm talking about. The images are AI, but the ideas are 100% my own. So if I was in charge of creating the Tomb, and I was given the task of creating a nostalgic wonder weapon for a map that shows reverence for Origins, I would start with where we are in the story. The Dark Ether story has been building up to this Tomb map. In this map, we are at the apex of discovery, and the Tomb has relics of old waiting for our characters. In addition to this, Treyarch has already been building up the effects of the actual Dark Ether, hinted at through the amalgamations and the doppelgasts. Creatures fused together from multiple people. People and animals metastasized and combined into hideous creations in this strange world, slowly peeping their way out into the real world. Now this is where the staff comes in. We need to attach it to this Dark Ether concept more. Since the staffs technically don't exist in the real world, we need to pull it from the Dark Ether, which means we have a lot of opportunities for creativity. The first thing we're going to change is that we're not just doing the Ice Staff. We're doing all of the staffs, the fire, ice, wind, and lightning staffs. Now, I'm not saying that we remake every staff one for one, but I'm saying that we do something new with all of the staffs. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an amalgamation of the staffs, true to the Dark Ether story. In the years leading up to the staffs being discovered in the Tomb, the Dark Ether has scattered the pieces of each elemental staff for the Requiem crew to salvage and put together. One piece of each staff would be found in 4 different areas of the map, and as the crew finds the parts, they can Frankenstein them together to create the ultimate new wonder weapon. the Staff of the Ancients. Having all the staffs come back increases the nostalgia value, but combining them together gives us some new gameplay opportunities, which would make the map stand out on its own, and give people more of a reason to come back to play this map, rather than just using the same wonder weapon we've already used before. The Staff of the Ancients, being a combination of all the old elements, gives it some crazy gameplay opportunities now, and the concept then splits into powerful new attacks that we could slice and dice in different ways. With the way the ice staff works now, there's a standard attack and a charge attack, and we're going to keep that. Now that we have all the elements together in the staff, there's some interesting and unique ways we could have it behave. And I'm sure there's tons of ways that the zombies community can create this into something awesome too, but these are just my initial 2 gameplay thoughts. Number 1 would be the cycle staff. So this staff would be more of a remake of each staff, but the twist is that the staff's standard shots would cycle through the attacks after each shot. For example, maybe the first shot is the fire attack, then the second is the ice, then electricity, then wind. Maybe we could come up with a way to make the 4 shots chain and combo together after the 4 shots are fired. If the ice shot comes first, then the wind is after, the ice would freeze the enemies, and then the wind would blow the zombies away and shatter their frozen remains. Then the electricity would fry zombies nearby and special zombies, allowing for the fire shot to quickly dismantle the stunned zombies. Visually, this could also be a cool effect on the staff, because as you fire the staff, and the elements cycle between each other, there could be a neat animation of the staff head rotating and the element changing per shot. The charge attack version of this weapon would just be the standard attacks just kind of beefed up, similar to how the ice staff behaves in the existing map, just with the other elements having a more powerful charge shot of each other. This one is kind of a complex idea, but it would be really cool if pulled off correctly. I would think that this would make the wonder weapon stand out way more than just the ice staff again. But either way, let's jump into a simpler idea that I also think would be very cool. The second idea is the standard combo staff. The standard attack in this staff would be a combination of the wind and electric staffs. These were generally regarded as the weaker of the staffs on Origin, so making them the standard attack makes sense. This attack would utilize wind to blow the enemies down, and then the electricity would stun the zombies to the ground, dealing damage and giving you time to recoup. This would be beneficial on a map as small as the Tomb, as it's easy to get caught in corners or in weird locations. The charge attack of this weapon would then be a combination of the ice and the fire staff. As you fire the charge shot, it would provide an area of effect, where zombies in a certain range would be frozen, being dealt damage, and as zombies walk into this area of effect, they would also freeze. But then after a certain period of time, let's say 3 seconds, the fire effect would kick in and every zombie within this radius would be scorched in fire, dealing devastating damage to every enemy within the radius. This would be a much more consolidated version of the staff, but allows for some interesting gameplay decisions to be made while in use. These are the 2 primary concepts I had for the staffs. Both of them took maybe 30 minutes to think up. But there's literally endless amounts of ideas you can do when you utilize the Dark Aether premise to its full advantage. The Dark Aether, in my opinion, is a giant scrapbook of zombies' history that you can pull from, rearrange, and spit new things out of. We kind of see that on full display in Ashes of the Damned, just kind of throwing things around wherever. There's transit elements here, there's Ascension over there, there's the Reckoning Towers, etc. So that's why this is so frustrating, because they literally could have done anything, but they opted to redo the same exact wonder weapon again. I find the lack of creativity disturbing on this map. And I've got even some more ideas they could have went with right off the cuff. So obviously they could have mixed all the staffs into one great amalgamation staff. They could have taken this amalgamation staff even further and added the Staff of Ra to it from the Chaos storyline, making it the greatest staff of all time. One with an omni attack of all the elements and some sort of area effect power attack that would have paid homage to Black Ops 4. Darkness damage is a new element of the Dark Aether story, and same with light elemental effects. Maybe we find 2 frames of ancient staffs and find 2 brand new elemental crystals to add into the staffs, forming dark and light staffs that would have had completely different effects to the original staffs. They could have even mixed the original elemental staff pieces into Reagan Mark IIs and then come up with a new wonder weapon for Shattered Veil. They could have even just visually changed the staff to look dark aetherified, or just more ancient looking at least. Literally anything would have been better than just redoing the ice staff again. I'm just baffled by the stunted creativity in this map's nostalgia bait concept. It could have been a perfect opportunity to mess with the details and really let all the stories meld together in a way we've never seen before. There's even some dumb ideas they could have went with. They could have done a fire staff minigun. They could have done the ice staff plus the Chaos Crew's hammer and mixed them together. And this one would have a new attack where when you hit the hammer on the ground and then the ground fires up a bunch of icicles at the enemies. They could have done an electric staff that's actually a melee weapon that can anchor 2 points on the map and fry zombies that walk into it, and then totally kick zombies' asses when they get hit by the staff. They could have done the wind staff and the Winter's Howl chassis, and called it the Winter's Howl, that shoots a blast that whips zombies into the center then explodes them outwards. They could have even done a staff that fires lasers that can literally shoot through the walls, making use of the depth perception perk re-added to this map. The tomb is a close quarters map, so maybe some sort of shotgun that ricochets all over the tomb walls after being shot would be cool. If you want to add nostalgia, make it a Blundergat variant. They could have brought the Crystal Axe back, but they could have varied it up by making them elemental based off the staff variants. They could have even done a staff where they use that weird guy's monocle to channel dark ether energy through the top of the staff that blinds zombies and turns them into ghosts that fight other zombies for you. I don't really care what the idea is, just do something different. We've been honed in mostly on the staff concept, but they could have even ditched the staff concept entirely and tried something completely unique. But instead we're stuck with a lame version of the ice staff on a now forgotten map because it lacks its own identity. Wouldn't any of those other ideas work just a bit better? Even if the wonder weapon ended up being trash, it would have added more to this map. It's at least funny to make fun of the Winter's Howl on 5 or the VR11 on Call of the Dead. They tried on some new ideas, they took some risks, and made some fun new gameplay memories for us all while playing these maps. Just imagine how much better the tomb would have been received had it taken a swing at making something new in the wonder weapon. I would bet it wouldn't have felt like a filler map if they did something new. In conclusion, I hope that Black Ops 7 can come up with some creative new concepts for zombies moving forward. The Dark Ether is finally here in zombies, and the concept has been teased for the past 3 games. It's time to unleash your creativity, Treyarch, and try some bold ideas in this next zombies mode. It's time to craft the new identity of zombies by shamelessly remixing old ideas with new. Or better yet, make a new idea come to life. The Dark Ether is here, so let's go wild and have some fun. At least Ashes of the Damned and Astra Malorum seem to have some unique wonder weapons, so let's keep that energy going during the DLC season, and not cop out on some new weapons. We've already been playing with the Ice Staff for over a decade. Now it's time to play with some new toys.